like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for October 2nd, 2014 to order at 8 p.m. On roll call, Council members Coletti.
Here.
Dombrowski.
Here.
Martino.
Here.
Pettigano.
Here.
Fonsino is absent due to illness.
I have no idea.
He is ill.
He's what?
He is ill.
Ill?
Yes. Caramagna.
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we trust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and plant therein the keen sense of justice and the great love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Every time I think of this.
Statement of compliance. Whereas Chapter 231, the Public Law of the State of New Jersey requires the commencement of every meeting. A statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised, the requirements of this meeting have been met by posting an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack, the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such a notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in the public place within the municipal building and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, this council meeting is being videoed. It'll be on cable channel 77, Tuesday at 12 noon, Thursday at 4 p.m., Friday at 10 a.m., and it's also on our website. So that's Tuesday 12 noon, Thursday 4 p.m., and Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Mayor, this evening, under the approval of minutes, we have September 11th, 2014 work session, September 18th, 2014 regular meeting, and September 25th, 2014 executive session.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to vote on this. If you weren't there, just pick out the date you weren't there, or if you have to abstain. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski and somebody on this side. Mr. Martino. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Pettigano.
Yes.
Fonsino is absent. Caramagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under ordinances on second reading, we have Resolution 336-14, introduce ordinance 14-21 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Licensing and Business Regulations, and whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, September 18th, 2014, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Licensing and Business Regulations pass on final hearing. Mayor will need a motion to open to the public.
Motion, please, to open the public.
So moved.
Coletti, second.
Second.
Dombrowski, any discussion? All in favor, opposed, so ordered. Anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? I'll move that the public portion be closed. May I have a motion on the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Mr. Pettigano. Any discussion?
If I may, Mayor.
Yes.
The council worked long and hard on this issue regarding working on Sunday, and we didn't want to hurt the homeowner. However, we felt it was not okay for the contractor to work on Sunday. So we more or less came up with the idea of starting at 12 o'clock and ending at 6 o'clock in terms of a homeowner being able to work on Sundays. Mayor?
Thank you. Anybody else? I just have one comment that I would like to see into this ordinance, but it's not so bad that I would try to veto it or anything of that nature. I just would have liked to see a limit on the number of days that the homeowner can build. You hate to see him building a house on his property and it goes 10 Sundays in a row, 12 Sundays in a row, so every Sunday they have it. But that's not part of this, but 12 noon to 6 p.m. I hope he accomplishes what he wants to do, and I hope it's not a major project. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Patagano?
Yes.
Bonsino is absent. Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening also, under second reading, we have Resolution 337-14, introduced ordinance 14-22 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of an easement in Block 1408, Lot 1, 368 Market Street, 541 Boulevard, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $22,500 to pay for the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. And whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, September 18th, 2014, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of an easement in Block 1408, Lot 1, 368 Market Street, 541 Boulevard, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park, in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $22,500 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Pass on final reading. Mayor will need a motion to open to the public.
Before we do that, would you just explain what that, the
Mayor,
area-
this is the funding to reconcile the final easement that we have for the Market Street and Boulevard reconstruction project, which is being funded by the County of Bergen. However, we are responsible for gaining the easement prior to the county commencing construction.
Motion to open to the public, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Mr. Martino, any discussion? Anyone in the audience wish to be heard? As our clerk, Mr. Kazmark has indicated, this is the corner of Market Street and the Boulevard. It's taken us, I don't know, almost 4 or 5 years to get this. We had to go to court and settle with the people, and now that this is being done, if it's passed tonight, we can start rounding off that corner and make it easier for the pedestrians and the traffic. I'll close the public portion. Motion, please.
Motion.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Mr. Dombrowski, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Patagano?
Yes.
Bonsino is absent. Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening, under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 338-14, bill list, Resolution 339-14, confirmation of escrow, Resolution 340-14, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 341-14, memorandum of understanding between the Borough and PBA Local 185, Resolution 342-14, authorize the release of engineering escrow for 109 Midland Avenue, Resolution 343-14, authorize the release of engineering escrow, 690 River Drive. Resolution 344-14, authorize reimbursement of insurance deductible for Peter Terranova. Resolution 345-14, approval to submit the NJDOT grant application for the Boulevard Improvement Project Section 10. Resolution 346-14, award the bid for the 2014 road resurfacing program to AJM Contractors Incorporated. Resolution 347-14, authorize a partial refund for the park and ride permit for Marina Barkreski. Resolution 348-14, approve budget amendment for the police accreditation grant in the amount of $25,000. Resolution 349-14, proclamation to put the brakes on Fatalities Day,
Trying to hit me?
October 10th, 2014. Resolution 350-14, refund tax overpayment due to tax appeal for 51 Bank Street. Resolution 351-14, refund tax overpayment due to tax appeal 260 Route 46 East. And Resolution 352-14, liquor license person-to-person transfer, Rinmar LLC. Resolution 353-14, resolution endorsing an interlocal agreement between the City of Garfield and the Borough of Elmwood Park to jointly administer a grant-issued NJDEP desnagging grant for Fleischer's Brook. and Resolution 354-14, resolution authorizing the execution of a NJDEP grant desilting and desnagging of Fleischer's Brook.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Colletti and Dombrowski. Any discussion?
Mayor, if I may, the last two resolutions, which are on the second page of the agenda, were add-on resolutions. We received these from Boswell Engineering late this afternoon, and these are in conjunction with the flood mitigation grants which the county has, or the borough has received through the NJDEP.
I'm not sure whether he's gotten permits from the DEP or not, but that may hold us up a little bit, but everything else is working out okay. We negotiated a contract. We have a memorandum of agreement with the police department, and basically, not basically, it is what we had last 3 years ago. So there's been no change in our contract with the police department. Call a roll, please.
On roll call, council members Colletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Bonsino is absent, Catalano.
Yes.
Motion carries. Under departmental reports this evening, we have the Recreation Department report for September, Municipal Court report for August, Building Department reports for April, June, July, and August, Board of Recreation minutes for July 28th, and Library minutes for July 21st.
Motion to receive and file, please.
So moved.
Mr. Martino, second.
Second.
Mr. Dombrowski, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
And Mayor, this evening under applications, we have two for St. Leo's Church, a Tricky Tray raffle application, and in addition a 50/50 raffle application, and then the Elmwood Park VFW Post 5084 instant raffle application.
Motion to approve all.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dombrowski, second. Mr.
Second.
Martino, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Thank you. Committee reports. Let's start on my right, Mr. Catamagna.
Thank you, Mayor. I have not much to report tonight, except last night there was a planning board meeting, and there were seven applicants. Everything went well. Everything was excellent, very smooth. I was very happy. I was satisfied with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dombrowski.
I'd like to wish I wish an easy fast and a happy Yom Kippur to our friends of the Hebrew Faith today. From the Health Department, the Elmwood Park Health Department will hold their annual flu clinic this Monday, October 6th, between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. here in the council chambers, also the courtroom here, located at Borough Hall, 182 Market Street. Another flu clinic will be held on Friday, October 10th, between 9:30 and 11 at the Elmwood Park Senior Center, located at the corner of the Boulevard and Market Street. Participants with Medicare Part B will be offered this program for free. All others will have to pay a $25 fee. Registration will take place at the clinics and there will not be any pre-registration. If anyone has any questions or requires any more information, they can call our health department at 201-796-1457, extension 604. As far as the Elmwood Park Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber should be congratulated for hosting another successful event with the running of the 5K and the Kids Run. Proceeds for this event will benefit our fire department and a young Saddlebrook resident, Thomas Buchka. Thank you to all the sponsors and the residents and neighbors who participated in helping make this year's event a success. On Friday, November 21st, the Chamber of Commerce will hold a hypnotic night out. This will be located at the Bethwood Restaurant at 38 Lackawanna Avenue in Totowa, New Jersey. The Chamber will be having an all-you-can-eat beefsteak, including salad, pasta, and dessert. Entertainment for the night will be a hypnotist, Stephen Christopher, with DJ and music supplied by Premier Entertainment. The cost is $65 per person. Come on out and support the great night. Maybe get hypnotized. Maybe we'll see Councilman Catamagna do a few crazy things. So come on out. I'd also like to include in my report tonight, and I know it's election season, and things are said and done to gain votes for the team of their side. However, I'd like to bring to your attention and to all the voters out there that this is the second year in a row that our mayor has gone door to door of the houses that have signs on it for us and our candidates. The mayor's asked questions like, why do you have a sign on your lawn? Why do you have their sign on the lawn? Do you know who Mr. Martino and Mr. Dombrowski are? Are you relatives of Lorraine Pellegrin and Donna Grazolino? Why would you vote for them? You're a registered Republican. We've had many complaints from the residents telling us about the comments and that they felt kind of pressured and a little bit harassed for supporting the other team. I say let the voters choose. Let the voters choose who they want. Let them have their right to vote for who they want to vote for. This has to stop. It's crazy. Maybe, and I say maybe, the reason the people are supporting us is because they're unhappy with how things have happened in the past. If you are a resident and you have received one of these visits and felt harassed, you have every right to report this to the Bergen County Board of Elections. You can reach them at 201-336-6225, or go on the internet and in the search bar, type in Bergen County Board of Elections, and there is a spot on there that says report a concern. Thank you. Progress.
Mr. Martino?
Nothing with the homeowners, but in absence of Councilman Vancino, since I am on the Personnel Committee, we were thankful that the police, we got the contract done, and it seems everyone's happy, and for 3 more years, we have harmony in almost every department, and that's a good thing for the town.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mr. Pedigano?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to send my condolences to Lorraine Pellegrin's family. Her mom passed yesterday, and I just wanted to wish them the best and hope that in these tough times, the family, which always stays together, will do well. As far as the rec basketball is signing up right now. We have 100 children so far signed up. Last year we had over 200. We're hoping we can top that number again. Also, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I just want to mention that because my sister beat it twice, and I can only hope for the best, for the same results for everybody. Also, going back to the rec, the bonfire and movie night was very successful and safe. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Coletti?
Thank you, Mayor. Regarding the police contracts and the negotiations, I've been here for quite some time. I've been through half a dozen, maybe more than that, and I must say that these proceedings were the most enjoyable. Both sides were there to get a just due. They left the table with feeling they each won. I guess one word to sum it up was very smooth. There was no one there that was contentious on anything, any item. We stood there, we worked it out. Our administrator did an excellent job of guiding us on our end, and the mayor, and it went well. Regarding the police monument dedication on September 27th on Molnar Drive, it was a warm and fuzzy feeling permeating the beautiful fall day. In attendance, there were the mayor and council, fire department, ambulance corps, police department, family representatives of those who were enshrined on the monument, and also the generous donors of that monument. Former police chiefs were there, and bagpipes to soften the mood. I think the mayor summed it up best when he said, "It's about time we have this." When the ceremony was over, as I walked away, I turned back and I said to myself, there's still something missing. What's missing? Then it came to me, a monument for the ambulance corps. Then the picture would be complete. And I was going to conclude my report at this point, but I'd just like to comment on some of the comments that my colleague, Joe Dombrowski, had said. Actually, it's a question, in the form of a question. I'm out campaigning every day, and I see a lot of signs from my opposition. Is it illegal for me to stop and ring that doorbell? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all.
Okay, well,
I didn't say that.
I'm missing it then.
I said that some of the neighbors are complaining and feeling harassed. If you want to ring their doorbell and say, "Hi, I'm Mr. Coletti, I'm your councilman, here's our information," we do it.
Okay, well, I just wanted to
No,
get that
I
straight.
just, what I think I clearly stated is that some of the residents feel harassed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. I mentioned this last public meeting that I was at the Passaic Valley Water Commission at their headquarters, and I spoke out against the project that's planned for in and around Woodland Park, and getting those tanks out, getting the reservoir out and putting tanks in, and I opposed that. I also went to a meeting at Senator O'Toole's office, and I indicated my opposition, because if that $135 million project goes through, our water rates are going to go up significantly. And I felt that if anything I can do, and Senator O'Toole knows that, to get any of the other communities to go into opposition to this because of the water rates, I would be glad to lead that fight. Okay? I don't see any reason why we have to go through this process. It's a tremendously costly process, and I agree with our clerk, who's also the mayor of Woodland Park, that I don't think it's necessary. I mean, as far as I know, one of the reasons that they want to do this is because of animal feces. Now, we've never had a problem before, and to do something like this because of that, I think is ludicrous. They can certainly find some way of doing something else. I mentioned before about the permits in Fleischer Brook. We have our former engineer, Mr. Pete Tenkate, is going to handle that, but it's the de-snagging of the brook and cleaning it out so we get better flow of water through there. Mr. Boncino is not here this evening, but he brought up at the last meeting, and I think it would certainly help us, getting new signs put up, not new, but additional signs put up. The police chief has indicated, and I certainly approve of putting up some signs that tell you how fast you're going. So if he has any extra money left over at the end of the year in the police budget, he may be looking for some areas where we can put up signs that indicate how fast you're going. We do have a sign in the police department that not only tells you how fast you're going, but records it. And I found out that through his effort and through the department itself, most people who say people are speeding by going 50, 60 miles an hour. And the report comes back, they're doing 25 or 20. The speed limit's not there. I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes we did one on Donor Avenue, and the maximum speed, or the average speed, was 20.1 miles an hour. The highest speed was 35 miles an hour. There was only one car that went that fast. So if you feel you want something like that done on your block and the police have the time to put it there, we can do that. I really don't like to talk about a campaign at a council meeting, but Mr. Dombrowski's new to campaigning. I've been doing this for 40 years, over 40 years. I don't intimidate anybody. Shame on him for even indicating that I intimidate. If I intimidate, they can call my office, they call me at home, my number's listed. If I go ring a doorbell, as Mr. Coletti indicated, I ask them if we have any choice. They have a sign up with both names. Do we have a possibility of getting one? And quite frankly, they say yes. So one of the candidates wanted their name, but they're looking for somebody else. I've gone to houses, usually two-family houses, where there are some owners who don't even live in town, were approached by the Democratic Party to put a sign on their front lawn, and the people there aren't voting for them. He didn't mention that. The sign is there, they're not even, some of them aren't even registered voters, and they've got signs on their house. I've been doing this, Mr. Dombrowski, for years. I don't intimidate anybody. It's up to them to vote the way they want. I'm tired of hearing I intimidate people. All the years I'm here, I don't intimidate anybody to vote for us because it doesn't work. So why bother? If they put a sign up, God bless them. But I'm going to continue to do it. If there's a sign up in front of a house, I'm going to ring a doorbell. And I'm going to ask, do we have a chance to get a vote? Nothing wrong with that. It's the first time anybody has ever accused me of doing this. Quite frankly, sometimes it's better off not saying something rather than invite somebody to a public council meeting to have that person praise you for something that he didn't do. May I open the meeting to the public, please? Anyone in the audience who wants to be heard?
Good evening. Rich DiLorenzo, 166 Hillman Drive. Question, why, excuse me, why the abrupt resignation of our health officer?
Excuse me?
What brought upon the abrupt resignation of our health officer?
She retired.
She retired.
Just retirement?
Yeah.
No other reason?
She has another reason, I don't know what it is, but she retired. She didn't mention it. There may have been another reason, but she retired.
There was no resignation letter, it was retirement papers.
Okay. One other question. At the last advisory, rec advisory meeting, I asked Councilman Pettigano about the county park and asked if there was a plan that was ever presented, or did the council ever get a plan, see a plan? And he replied that there was none. Is that true? Has the council received a plan for the new park, for the passive
There's a
park?
plan for the park. The police chief was there, and he received the plan.
There's
Mr.
a
Kessler?
blueprint. There's a blueprint available.
We don't have one, I didn't have
We
one
don't have it here.
available to me.
It's not here.
Well, my question was, did anyone see it? And the
No.
councilman advisor said, no, we don't have a plan, which I thought was kind of strange.
We have a plan.
We do have a
The
plan,
county has a plan, yes. We-
but we have it.
But
we
it's,
are-
Mr. DiLorenzo, it's not our park. It's the county park.
That's
And
not
it's
my question.
really not up to
My
us
question was,
to
do we
agree or
have a
disagree.
copy of the plan? That's
I'm
the
just
follow-up
explaining.
question.
I do know that there is a blueprint and a plan that was presented to the police chief during one of the joint meetings of the builder, the engineer, and so on and so forth. I believe the police chief might actually have a copy of that blueprint. But other than that, it's really wasn't something that we had to vote on. It was,
But there is a plan.
Just that there is a plan.
The county is building the park, not us. Just like we didn't receive the money here, went to the county, without getting into that again.
Have we questioned that plan at all? Have there been any questions to the county?
the chief has made some comments that and shared some of his concerns.
Could you share those concerns?
Yeah, I think one of the concerns is that the paths might not be wide enough to fit a police car down, or an ambulance of some sort. So there's going to be, some discussion about, maybe in the future getting one of those ATVs that they can use during the patrol. Again, it's the question mark is who's patrolling the park? Is it the county police? Is it Elmo Park Police? Let's face it, a 911 call comes in, it's going to be Elmo Park who responds first, no matter what. So yeah, some of the questions came up, of course.
You agree with that, Mr. Pettigano? Since you're a liaison?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Okay, because questions are coming to some of the advisory members, and
There is a plan. The plan is out there. They know where they're going with the park. And we have motorcycles. God forbid there's a problem. There's a motorcycle that can go through. And that park has been there forever, that land, and we've always been able to get through to pick up anybody if they're injured or anything else. So we are quite adaptable if there's an emergency.
thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Tom Conboy, 135 Tooele Avenue, Elmwood Park. I'm starting to worry that you guys missed me, but I watched the last public meeting, and I think you guys have your hands full. And I like it cold, Mayor, but I'm on blood thinners now, so I'm freezing. I apologize for not being around a lot sooner. I was sidelined for a little while, and I want to thank all the members of the council and the mayor for reaching out to check on me. I appreciate it. It shows that you do love me and you miss me. So I'm going to talk some things that have already passed, but it's just my opportunity to say thanks. Some of the councilmen may have already touched on it, but I was very lucky enough to be allowed to still volunteer here in the community, and I was very thankful that the Chief Mike Feligno let me continue to help with National Night Out. It was another great success, a lot of great folks. Gave away again like 700 plus hot dogs, waters, everything else, and ices and so forth. And It was a great night to also thank everybody who's been helping all these years. We had some very nice, beautiful plaques made that all the folks, all the organizations, the ambulance corps, the fire department, the police department, the donors who have been so good to the National Night Out and so forth, all got a very nice plaque for the town to say thank you to, and so forth. So again, just want to thank all of you, and I want to thank the chief personally. I've already thanked him personally, but didn't get a chance to come here being sidelined to thank everybody for being out there, and hopefully it will continue to grow and be a great town event. I'd also like to just take a couple of opportunities to also send out some well wishes and congratulations to some of our own hometown kids. A lot of our children excelled in the college level and in the classroom and on the field of competition. And like anything else, when you're an athlete, you have your ups and your downs, but I want to congratulate our own resident here in town, Gary Nova. Last weekend he became the top touchdown scorer in Rutgers history. So considering it's the birthplace of football, it's a pretty good place to be the #1 guy for his success. And all his family members, George and his dad George and his mom Daisy, they've done a wonderful job raising all their children. So another proud moment for our town, I think, was a couple weeks ago at the 5K run. The Chamber of Commerce has done a real phenomenal job since it's been regenerated and relaunched for now a couple of years. I was proud to be their liaison, and I thought they did a phenomenal job. The 5K was another great turnout. A lot of great money was raised for a lot of great folks who are in need of it, to help them with whatever they need the help with, the financial help with. So that was nice. Since the event started, it's raised over close to $60,000 with this year's total. So pretty nice to see everybody get out there, and the photos were nice in the paper to see all the great stuff. And with that, I just kind of want to segue for a second here about the Chamber of Commerce. They're a proud bunch. We're very lucky that many of the members of the Chamber of Commerce live right here in Elmer Park. In about a year and a half, I believe it is, we'll be losing Seal Air. And with them leaving our community, and no fault to the town of Elmer Park, but still, that leaves people who grace our businesses, who maybe even employ some people. I know there's a handful of residents, maybe even more, that work for Seal Air from Elmer Park. I don't think they'll be moving down south, but that would be, if they do, we'll be sad to see them go, because there are residents here. But so the Chamber has done a really phenomenal job to regenerate itself, do a lot of interest. They're not a selfish bunch. They're there to represent our whole community. Like I said, many of them live here in town, and a couple of years back, we talked about projects in this community. The mayor mentioned earlier, I guess you guys voted, the whole council, we finally got the last easement for the Market Street. When I came on council, that project, just to show how time goes on, right? So that project got started under the mayor and council at the time, but was kind of spearheaded by Frank Fasolo. And Frank, like me, we're forced into retirement. So you're not here sometimes to see the rewards of your arguments and your battles and your successes with the council. To this day, when it does get completed, thank God we've never had any serious accidents there. You could really, scale it any which way you want. Well, do we need to do it? There's never been an accident there. It could be the next one. And at the same time, when he was fighting for that to get the money from the county, along with the mayor and council, the 7-Eleven was getting ready to go in. We all remember disputes about that. So it seemed like good timing for all that. So with all that discussion came discussion about the tank. And I myself, we all can have different opinions about the tank. Well, it's not even a tank, the armored vehicle. Myself, when I was on council about now 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago, we discussed the moving of the tank. We didn't want to push it any further back to the Charlie Brown Christmas tree that we have. And we didn't want to push it any further to the water pump station. Thank God that's getting rehabbed finally. So there was a discussion what to do with it. A committee was formed, and the committee tried to look into what should be done. We also tried to reach out to our VFW and our American Legion, and at the time the response from them was, no one ever said they didn't want it, they just didn't want it, we were going to maybe move it to their property. You go to Paramus, American Legion, they got a few vehicles there and so forth. and they just said that they didn't want it there. So I know at a meeting, at that time, young Danny, who's now on the Board of Ed, was coming to the meetings, and his sidekick Victor gave us a whole lesson about that vehicle, on how it's limited. There was only a limited run of them made. There's only a few still known, and so forth. At the same time, there's a lot of things heading on a collision course here. The Chamber of Commerce was also looking to donate a new, brand new holiday tree to the community. So that was also starting to get in the works. I had made the comment that since both organizations didn't want it moved to their property, that we should move it to over by the monuments, take down some of the dead trees, which are finally down, and repolish the monument, which hasn't been polished in a long time. Maybe put a new flagpole in, because I remember when I go to the events that I've done on Memorial Day Parade, sometimes we have some trouble getting that chain going up. I think it's broken, but I could be wrong. And we moved the tank over there, put nice new benches in, and moved the tank over on a nice platform with a nice chain around it, with a spotlight on that and on the monument and so forth. Because one of the things we did when we finished the sprinkler system on Borough Field during that time, again, another achievement of the mayor and council together, regardless of who was on the council at the time, we actually made sure we put in sprinklers. After picking up from where Mr. Mulligan left off, and put in sprinklers so that water could get to those areas to help those things. So getting back to my main thing about the tank was that I was really disappointed to see what's happened and the argument going back and forth about the tank, because we were discussing this over 3 years ago, you know. And to see, I didn't get the literature at my house, I don't know why, but to see, I thought it was really unfair to put the director's name out there from the Chamber of Commerce. I understand when you're in politics, that's the way it goes. But the Chamber was acting in a positive way. Actually, I knew about the letter and so forth. I'm the one who told them, have a plan before you go to mayor and council. So if you want to be mad at anybody, be mad at me. Because I told them, if I learned anything about being on the council, was have a plan. Come with something. Just don't come in and spitball it and hope it sticks to the wall. So they did some due diligence, and they just put feelers out. They never offered it. They just said, if the town wanted to give it, would you be interested? So I'm glad it's staying in Elmwood Park. I don't think that was ever anyone's intention. But it's kind of like a shame. It took this long for us to all decide to do something about it. You know, I read some of the tweets, and they said, I read a lot of tweets, people wrote, I played on that as a kid. I think someone wrote to Mr. Councilman Dombrowski, Joe, don't you remember you and I played on that thing? Which, to be honest with you, that kind of bothered me too, because it's not a plaything. That's why it should be set alone by itself, with a nice chain around it, and a placard to explain what it did. Because at the end of the day, it was there to protect our own, all of our forces, and so forth. So, if it was a plaything, then we should move over by the recreation playground area. But that's just my 20 cents or 30 cents on that topic. And that kind of gets me to the county park. You know, everyone's been waiting for this. My first year, I thought for sure, my first time, I thought for sure the mayor was definitely going to wring my neck, was when we went to the county meeting. It was myself, the mayor, Councilman Castiglia, and Councilman Chewinski. The whole council knew we were going, but those are the only ones who could attend that night. And we went, and at the time, it was, not that it matters, but for the record, it was all Democratic freeholder. The freeholder president or chairman was Jim Carroll, who I know very well from Demorest. And we went back and forth. At the same time, Overpeck Park was getting ready. They were spending a lot of money in Overpeck Park. A lot was happening. And, you know, we all spoke, and they kept saying, well, we have no money, we have no money. And finally, the chairman, president of the board, whatever the chairman of the freeholder board, Jim Carroll said, you know what, councilman? Because I said to them, well, if you don't have any money, and you don't think you can do anything, then why don't you just give it to us? And let us, over the years, do some stuff to it. And the chairman said, you know what, I think we're going to vote. Let's give it to Elmwood Park. I looked back at the mayor, and I saw him, and I know Frank, I know, has concerns if we ever took it from him. We don't have the money either. And what was funny, though, was I turned, I'm like, I even said, Mayor, if you remember, and Larry and Rich, I turned to the chairman and said, well, don't vote tonight, because they're my ride home. And I think if you say yes, I'm not getting a ride home. So, you know, we all worked on that part. So, in some ways, I will tell you, just like you hear me talk about Councilman Fasolo, He spearheaded this project and many other great projects that either maybe any one of you may spearhead. You know, it was kind of like a kick to see that, that it was like, you know, because it happened on your shift, and you should be proud, but it was a team effort to get to where we are today. And I'll be honest with you, I would never vote no to take money for something from the county or the state. I'm not a big fan of the county park. I myself and some other councilmen on a very nice snowy night went and looked at another park in the town to see what that could really happen someday in that area. And it's a little disturbing to find out we've all been waiting for this, and you guys all haven't looked at a plan yet? You're big about plans. I heard plan. I've been hearing about plans for the meetings I have attended. No one's taken an eyeball to it. You guys didn't have it at a work meeting. Nobody kind of looked to see.
I've seen
it.
I've seen it.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you saying you saw it. So nobody else saw it?
I know what the plan is.
Okay.
I have a copy of the plan.
Okay. Nobody else was interested to see it? I was. I saw it. Nobody else was interested. Because I know the mayor mentioned, you know, if something goes wrong, we have guys on motorcycles, but not at 2 o'clock in the morning. It has a lot of narrow paths. I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't have any lights. The county, I understand, is doing what they're doing. Again, I would never vote no to take money, but it has narrow paths other than one big runway. And if it's a success and it becomes a county thing, and a lot of folks come from the county or other counties to come to it for a nature walk, I guess, or to see our coyotes playing. There's no curbing. There's been no sidewalks added. There's no parking lot for it. You know, I know it's out of your hands. It's the county property, but it is going to be smack right in the middle of Elmwood Park. And one of the biggest concerns, we don't hear about it too much, was when they did over Peck Park, after it was all completed, I know the mayor knows this, they couldn't even take care of it. They didn't have enough people to even mow the grass. That was a big concern, right, Mayor, with the Overpeck Park? So, I'm just a little surprised that we haven't all eyeballed that plan, because I think there should be some more to it. But anyway, just moving forward here, and I'll wrap up soon, I promise, but can someone help me here a little bit? I was recently told that the mayor and council is considering, it was brought to the advisory board of the rec, that they're going to take away the stipends for some of the non-rec programs. Is that true?
Didn't come from us.
Well, has it been discussed?
It was discussed at the rec meeting. But
so who's it coming from?
I believe it was put on the agenda by either the advisory board or the rec director.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. DiLorenzo is on that board. Can we ask him if they put it on the agenda?
I don't think we should go there.
Okay. Well, let's assume they didn't. We're not sure? Councilman, your liaison here. You're not sure who put it on there?
I'm not sure who put it on there, but we did have a discussion about it.
Okay. Well, since the advisory board doesn't make any, I think from what I'm told, the advisory board didn't see the agenda until like that night, or it came out, I think that night or the night before. So they're not even asked anymore for anything on the agenda. So...
I'm not privy to that.
Don't you get the agenda
I always...
I'm not digging on you, Glenn.
No, I'm
figuring out the process here.
It's okay.
Because they feel like they're in no man's land anyway.
Right. No, I understand. The request for agenda items has always gone out, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, about 4 days before, am I correct? And you did not receive that. I was not aware of that. We can make sure it does not happen again.
So you guys can tell me confidently tonight that we won't be taking away the stipends from the Independent League?
No.
Since really the commission, and you guys know the law better than me, and we got Mr. Rentazzo back there.
That would be a discussion for the advisory board.
The advisory board can't even probably vote to not even give it.
They can certainly discuss with the rec director.
Discuss, but they can't vote.
No.
Okay. So if there's a vote that's going to come down, it's going to come from you guys and the rec director.
In my opinion, that's not a vote for the council. The rec director is to come to us for purchases over $25,000. I don't think it's a vote for the mayor or the council, but I will say that if we were to take a vote, I would vote no. Don't take them away.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. I hope that doesn't happen.
I don't know. I'm not going to speak. I'm just speak for me, but I wouldn't vote for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. And Councilman Patagano, can you just tell me, I'm just curious, you talked about movie night. Spencer was a big sponsor of that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
One of our another great member of our Chamber of Commerce. They had donated a new scoreboard. I know it's soccer season. Do you know why it's been held up, why it's not installed?
It was a bit of a disagreement about the positioning of it. And I believe that's going to be coming up on the agenda next month for the advisory board and the rec director.
At the end of the day, if the advisory board doesn't really have any,
No, but
they have a say but no vote, can't we just decide now, hey, it's going there, boom, like it or not, it's a free donation?
well, the advisory board is there to really help the rec director make decisions, and we're hoping that that is.
She doesn't have to listen to them, right? No, I'm just trying to be clear here. I'm not picking on her.
No, she doesn't, but she also does, because they are the liaisons to the town. They are the advisory board are the people who will bring the information to the rec director. And if they feel strongly enough about a subject, they can lobby us, they can discuss it with us, and we can have, they can make us aware of both ends of the argument, the rec director and then the advisory board, which I believe would be an extension of our community.
Okay, just trying to figure out, want to weed my way through it too, to see who's going to have the full ultimate say. Because it's a shame, it was a donation made months ago, and they'd hoped to have it up by the soccer season. Here we are, October already.
I don't believe they received the money yet, but I'm sure it's waiting for them.
Well, either we're buying a scoreboard or, well,
Yeah.
still, I'm sure Spencer's waiting on us.
Right.
So.
Anything else, Tom?
Yeah, yes, just a couple. I'm sorry, Mayor. Open space grant for the year, when's it due?
Mr. Cat?
31st.
December 31st? Is the council already planned out what they want to do?
No, it's my understanding that the rec advisory board meeting is going to have a special meeting and make a recommendation to the council, and then the engineer will be directed how to proceed.
Does the council have any wishes what they want to do? Again, we talk about plans.
Well,
Plans?
I believe the hockey rink is going to be our next project. I think it's going to be moved from English Ave to Borough Field. And I think the lights are going to go in down at English, and we want to do the hockey rink on Borough Field, next to the basketball.
Okay, next to the basketball court, not to replace
But
the
that's
basketball
a
court.
recommendation we're going to make to the advisory board.
So if the advisory board says no, who's going to make the decision if it's going to get moved?
Well, then we
After all, you
can,
guys approved the money. The rec director could say, I want it on the moon. But at the end of the day, you guys have to vote for the money.
Well, it's over $25,000, so we would have to say in that.
Well, all open space money you do, Joe. Any kind
Yes,
of
you're
grants,
right.
the mayor
You're
and
right.
council has to vote on
Yeah,
that.
you're right.
So, because we're going to be matching, so we have to put up half. Right?
so we'll be deciding that
So you're going to be
on the
voting to
7th.
move it, correct?
Voting, yes, we are.
So if you had a vote today, I think it's pretty safe to say the majority, or maybe even overwhelming, all would probably vote to move it. I'm just putting it out there, just
Maybe.
guessing. Well, we'll play that game. We'll get there next.
Tom, allow me. My problem with moving it is the destruction of the basketball courts that we've invested money in. There's between the fencing and the pavement, and then moving the pole. That's my problem with moving that rink to that point.
Just,
Being that now I am officially a Board of Rec member as a councilman, I just thought I'd throw that in.
Right. Well, I'm a little, we talk about plans and safety, and I know you talk about the county property. I don't think I'm alone in saying that we're not all thrilled with the final plan. I think it's safe to say. Glenn, you're shaking your
safe
head.
to say that we're all not happy.
So I know at the last meeting I wasn't able to get there, but I know the chief appeared and gave it his input. But and they talked about a security light out there. I mean, we have, as I served for the council and liaison all those years to the council from the rec, probably the most park that had the most vandalism was our own Borough Field. And we have cameras and we have lights and we have patrolmen, we have and residents, everybody, and that's where most of our damage happened. If you look back the last 6 years, so I know the concern was made, well, it's going to be down on English Avenue, and one of the things we did was put up a fence by the creek a couple of years back to try to close in English Avenue a little bit. Plus the hockey rink would have a chain and lock around it and so forth. So But you guys move it, you move it. I just think that some of the scenarios apply to one but don't apply to all, or the reasons why. So my last two things real fast is I'm glad I read today. I'm a proud member of this mayor and council. We may not always agree and so forth, but I think we got a lot of good things accomplished. I'm sure this council will feel, I'm sure as you're all new councilmen or whatever, you feel the same way when you look back and you're over here at the podium like me. But I'm glad to see in the paper that the council has decided. Some might say, well, let's just go to Vegas and gamble that money, or Atlantic City. But I'm glad to see, and I don't expect anybody to comment on it because you're the governing body, you're elected officials, but I'm glad to see the town is going to pursue the case with the previous building inspector. I sat in on those meetings. I was there. 5 minutes, I promise. I was there.
I'm going to cut you off in 5 minutes.
No, I was there. I see him doing that. So I was proud of what we did there, and I think it's a little unfair too. I see Councilman Chewinski's name in there all in the last two articles. Councilman Chewinski did his very due diligence. I was not deposed. I think there was only three sitting council elected officials that were deposed and so forth. And I think we did our due diligence. And if I'm not mistaken, and I guess I don't know if I'm supposed to say this now or not, but I'm not elected anymore. But if I'm not mistaken, and Mr. Kazmar can correct me, but I believe two hearings were held with civil service, and both times they agreed with us. If there wasn't two, there was definitely one, and so forth. So that was great work done then, and I hope you guys will continue with that as well. And I just want to say one thing about the lawn signs. There was always an agreement for a long time, never do lawn signs. And the agreement got stopped, the agreement got broke. So when you argue about lawn signs, I think you should think about going back to when Ms. Pellegrini was on the council before, her and I both agreed, let's just stop lawn signs. We even had a vote, I think we lost. So maybe we should just stop lawn signs. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Mr. Conway,
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Can I just comment on something that he said, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Conboy, first of all,
2 minutes.
thank you. Thank you. Real
I like
quick.
the haircut.
Thank you. I did it before it got to me.
Actually, very handsome.
As far as the county park goes, we're not all happy with the plan, but at least we're happy that something's happening. And it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So
I don't disagree with that, Joe, but collectively we all worked on it, you know. Just like the DOT grant, you know, we put in applications for years while I was on council, and the council before me, to try to get the streetscape continued. Just like getting the money from the county to do Market Street and get it done. So I agree with you, but we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard in less than a minute? If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Thank you. Thank you for attending.
My son will tell me.
I think somebody else was going to say something.
$40.